I just marinated it in plastic. We don't like plastic, we like glass. Why do we care about all this plastic? What's the big deal?
It's a toxic bomb.
Our whole practice is based on getting you to be the best version of yourself.
Remove the crappy foods, the wheat, the dairy, the sugar.
Everything we do is based in the medical literature and evidence-based medicine. We're going to look at how to get you healthy, not how to get you on medicines, how to get you off medicine. There's a couple of very curious things that CBD oil does, helping people with migraine headaches reduce the frequency and intensity of their headache. People that have ADD or ADHD, anxiety or mood swings or depression, these things can help decrease anxiety and make a child more calm. Lyme has been found from coast to coast. 50% of all counties in the United States have Lyme disease documented. And now we're live. Hey, how you doing, guys? It is Wednesday. It is not 3 p.m., which we normally at. It is 6:15 p.m., and we're doing a cooking demo. And for a lot of folks, a lot of you even here, we've done cooking demos in the past. This is version 2.0, right? That's right. So we're going to go over some of the old stuff we've covered before, but we're going to go over a lot of new stuff. And keto is a big topic. And so we're going to show you all about keto-friendly meals. And look, the whole point of tonight is just relax and have fun, right? Our goal is not to make you a master chef, because we're not. But our goal is to demystify some of the limitations that people have when they go into the kitchen. A lot of people who here is intimidated by going into the kitchen? Either they hate it there, or they don't know what they're doing there, or they're just, a little off-putting. We're going to try to eradicate that, and Chelsea's going to give you her famous quotes. But we're just going to try to demystify it and make it fun, because mealtime should be fun. And I really hope, right now, that you're currently in the moment. We hear these things like mindfulness, right? What is mindfulness? Well, mindful is just being in the moment. You're mindful of every breath. You're mindful of what's really going on. And hopefully in our busy days between texts and emails, we stop and we breathe a little bit, right? We belly breathe, and we're being conscious, and we're preparing food and savoring that time. It doesn't have to be a lot of time, right? But that is a great time to pause in your day. And instead of looking at it as, oh God, I gotta fix dinner, enjoy it, right? Take a break from your day and engage in that moment. And I think it's important that we take that in. Everything we're gonna do tonight is quick and easy.
Yes. Yes.
And your quote about quick and easy? She's great at cliches.
Mine is there's no mistakes in the kitchen, but I think I know which one you're referring to.
Yeah.
Go ahead and say it.
When I first met Chelsea, this lovely face had this slide she put up during a talk, and it said, you are what you eat, so don't be fast, quick, and easy.
Fast,
or something
easy, and
like
cheap.
that.
Fast, easy, and cheap.
Don't be fast, easy, and cheap. Anyhow, tonight we're going to show you how to be fast and easy and relatively inexpensive.
On the edge of cheap.
All right,
Yes.
Move me on, my girl. I got my clicker over there. So we're going to go over the top 3 problems. So a lot of you sent this in. We asked, what's your biggest challenge in the kitchen? And the top one that we hear time and time again is time constraints. And I don't have time, and it's a busy day, and so I just go through the drive-thru, or I just pick something up, or I do a boxed meal or something like that. We're going to talk about that tonight. What would you say about time constraints? And you often talk about people going through drive-thrus.
Oh gosh, yeah. When you sit in a drive-thru, it's 20 minutes to sit in that Chick-fil-A line. So you take that 20 minutes that you're sitting in the Chick-fil-A line every day, and you just put it towards the beginning of the week, and you meal prep. So it doesn't have to be that much time if you're truly prepared, and that's what we'll talk about tonight.
Yeah, because how many people, I have this conversation every week. Oh, it's time for dinner. Come on, get in the car. Let's drive to the restaurant. Now we have to be seated. Now we have to wait for the waiter. Then we put in our order. Then we get our meal. Then we drive home. That's easily an hour. Easily an hour. Everything we're going to prepare tonight takes, on average, 10, 15, at the most, 20 minutes at the most. Simple ingredients and a simple process. So, again, we just want to make this simplified and make it fun. So what's our next problem? Know-how, kitchen knowledge, right? I feel lost in the kitchen. You don't have to have a lot of wizardry and gadgets.
No.
Simple stuff, knives and pans. Carol does a lot of food preparation.
Yes.
And so what would you say about know-how in the kitchen? What do you basically need to know?
Basically, you need a good skillet, you need a cookie sheet, you need a knife,
Simple stuff.
and a fork.
And we're gonna
Done.
pretty
And some
simple
wine.
stuff.
That's really all. Have
So-
some wine. Have some wine.
And some wine. But our first couple of things we're going to prepare are a stir fry and roasted vegetables, because they're so easy. And we've done this before in our other discussions, right? But we're just going to review it very, very quickly, because it's so basic, so simple, but so essential. It's so fast to come home and prepare a stir fry. So we're gonna go through, as you watch this tonight, the hows are simple. And anybody that's shy in the kitchen, I'm gonna ask you to come up and help me make a dish, or help the gals make a dish. The last one is difficulty knowing what to make. And I know my own wife struggles with this. She goes, I can make whatever you want, just tell me what it is. I don't wanna have to think. So we have a cookbook. Chelsea's cookbook is right over here. Most of you may have already gotten one if you're in our Virtuoso program. If you haven't, Chelsea and I put this together a year ago, and everything in here can be made in under 20 minutes. Everything in here is basically low carb. You will not find any wheat in this book. No wheat, all right? A little bit of dairy perhaps, but knowing what to cook, there's tons of recipes, and we like simple stuff. We don't like recipes that have 20 ingredients. So we're going to try to demystify all that on the coming moments here. I'm going to turn it over to Chelsea because she's going to share with you.
This is my oven. A few years ago when I first started cooking spaghetti squash, you can see I put it in there whole and it exploded whole. So that's something I've made several mistakes of in the kitchen. But the point is, there are no mistakes in the kitchen, and you can almost blow up your house, and the worst thing that's going to happen is you'll be homeless for a little bit.
Thanks for coming.
Nice, yeah. Hope you enjoyed.
But now I will never make that mistake again. I will never put a spaghetti squash in the oven whole because I almost blew up my house. But there are no mistakes in the kitchen. I've made a million mistakes, and you learn.
I love, she has a picture of, you've ever seen these, you know these pictures you see online, right? They're perfect. They're perfect. This avocado with an egg nestled in it, and it looks so pretty. And then Chelsea showed me her version, and it looked like an elephant sat on the avocado.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what it looks like. And common, it just, does it taste good? And simple things do.
Yeah.
Go ahead and change the slide there. So Chelsea wanted me to talk to this. That beautiful young lady is somewhere here this evening. It's funny. We like this because it launches us into another talking point, which is, how old were you at that time? 10, 11, 12, something like that? And I joke because we have friends, very dear friends, but they eat very differently than us. And so one evening they just happened to send me a picture, and it said, the Rileys out to dinner, and it was a table full of burgers and fries. And at that moment, Lainey was on the back patio having a salad. And I said, the Hubers out to dinner. And the point here is kids will eat salad, kids will eat vegetables, kids will eat anything healthy if you teach them how. We often think that kids need kid food. Kid food is just code for processed garbage, right? And so that's not true. They will learn to love vegetables, and she learned from a very early age, right? That vegetables and meats and whole foods are really good. So if I can teach Lainey to eat that, you can teach anybody to eat really healthy foods. So if you're one of those folks, I get this all the time, an adult that says, I don't like vegetables. You just haven't learned yet, all right? You can teach anybody to like vegetables. Actually, an article on our website, how to get your kids to eat vegetables, and sometimes I have to hand it to an adult to read, all right? Because we have to learn. And there's ways to do that. Just slowly introduce new vegetables into your diet, because that is the difference between really healthy and not so much, right? I had a guy in my practice once, he walked in, and we have a reputation for who we are, and he walks in with his pointed finger and says, I know you. And he goes, I've never liked vegetables, I never will like vegetables, and you can't make me. You know why he was there to see me? He had 2 forms of cancer. He had prostate cancer and colon cancer simultaneously. It wasn't metastatic disease. And I said, you're perfect, you're beautiful, you are the poster child for cancer. You've never eaten vegetables, and look where it led us, okay? And that's a real risk. When we don't eat our vegetables, when we don't like them, we don't know how to prepare them, our risk for heart disease and Alzheimer's and cancer go up dramatically. So we really we're going to prepare all kinds of vegetables tonight. And if you're not a big vegetable fan, I'm going to tell you what I tell my kids. Cover it up. I don't care. Cover it with ketchup, barbecue sauce, ranch dressing, Parmesan cheese. I don't care. Cover it up so that you like the flavor, but get it in that pie hole. It's so important. If you don't have one of Chelsea's cookbooks, we have them here. All the recipes we have tonight are going to be online, so everything we have is going to be recorded for your benefit. We're going to get cooking. Enough of me talking at this point.
Okay.
I do look at this kitchen. Isn't this gorgeous?
Yeah.
Isn't this a great facility?
Yes.
So Kathy, our lovely host from Custom Distributors, so Kathy herself has been nothing but kind and cordial and made this so easy for us to do. And I really want to thank Custom Distributors. If you walk through their showroom downstairs, come back sometime and check it out. There's some really cool stuff there. So we have bought in our house stuff from Custom Distributors for 20 years. And they're a great team to work with. So I want to thank her for tonight. All right, where are we going first? We're going to do oldies but goodies. For those of you that have been to our cooking demo part 1, come on in. Come on in, that's all right.
You're good.
Right up front. See, that's what happens when you come
That's
late.
what happens, yeah. Just like church. Come late, you gotta sit up front.
Like church.
So what's your name? Cindy, how are you? Why are you late, Cindy?
I'm the target, right?
Everybody, you're off the hook. I got Cindy. We're going to be fine.
Cindy.
So we're going to start in with some of our basics. I'm going to let the girls kind of take over for right now. We're going to do roasted vegetables and stir fry because these are basics. These are so easy and they're so flavorful, and you can make a big bunch of it and it can last you for a couple of meals. So go ahead and I'll let you guys kind of take
All
it
right.
from here.
Okay, well, I'm Carol, so everybody welcome. I'm going to walk you through how to do roasted vegetables. So a lot of time I knew when I was growing up, we didn't roast vegetables in the oven. That's not how Mom did it. It was you opened a can and you put it in a saucepan, or you took it out of the frozen bag and you put it in a glass dish and you put it in the microwave and you heat it up that way. You will get so much more flavor and so much more nutrition, and you'll enjoy it so much more if you roast them in the oven. So I'm going to show you how this is a quick and easy thing to do when you get home from work and you've got hungry kids like I do, and it's going to make life a lot better, and you can turn it into a full dinner and not just a side dish and then have to think about what you're going to do for your meat. So if somebody would love to come up, well, Cindy, you want to come up and chop some vegetables, girl? Come on up.
You're here. Enjoy.
The only tool you're really going to need for this dish, come on around here, dear, is a cookie sheet, a cutting board, and a knife. That's all you need to get out and get dirty. So come here, darling. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to spray my cookie sheet just with some, you can use olive oil cooking spray, use whatever you've got. Use whatever vegetables you've got. So when I'm thinking about cooking for the week, I'm thinking about convenience. What am I going to do when I come home at 6 o'clock at night and I need something to just pull out so I can start cooking it? So I love going to your local grocery store and going in the produce, buying the pre-bagged florets. Yes, I know it's not the most cost effective, but for time and the amount of waste you're not going to have, it's totally worth it. So buy your you can use any kind of vegetable you like. What I chose for tonight was broccoli. I've got some zucchini. I've got some yellow pepper here, onion, and some baby carrots. Okay, that's all we're going to do on our cookie sheet. So if you'd like to start chopping up.
Wash my hands first.
Yes, oh, you were a
And again,
smart girl.
We've got vegetables on plastic bag, which makes me cringe, but it's a valid point.
Right.
Quick and easy. It's got to work. It's got to fly with your schedule. And if you got more time, buy the organic broccoli, the organic cauliflower, and cut it up yourself. But these kind of quick speed tricks
start
can be very
plating?
lifesavers. They can be helpers.
All right.
So don't feel bad
In the
about
interest
that.
of time,
You
so-
can even buy frozen vegetables already cut up, right? If that's helpful.
Yeah.
Have some of those in reserve.
Yes.
So on those nights you're like, oh, I don't have anything. Grab some frozen vegetables, throw them in a bowl, season them up, slam them in the oven. It's very, very quick, very simple.
Baby carrots you can
So-
cut in half. So like baby carrots, you want everything to get done at the right time, right? And you at the same time, and you want it to all be uniform. So baby carrot, cut it in half before you roast it if you're putting it in with other vegetables. With your peppers, just cut them into big chunks. This doesn't have to be neat. It doesn't have to be pretty. You want big chunks because you want the flavor from that vegetable. You don't want it to shrivel up and cook and burn, okay? That's all right.
Flying
That's all good.
And Carol, you put chicken on.
Well, that's what I'm coming to.
Okay,
So
perfect.
if you don't want to have to think about having to do a whole, that's perfect. So we're going to just dump this on our cookie sheet. Thank you. You've been lovely. I appreciate that. So what we're going to do, we've got our veggies on our cookie sheet. Then you get to start adding your spices. I'm just dumping my broccoli on there. Normally, I would do that.
go.
So you've
Yeah.
got your broccoli on there, and you'd want it to make it a little more uniform, but in the interest of time, I think you got the idea of what you're going to be doing. Now this is the fun part. You get to start adding what other kind of seasoning you like. So what I'm going to start with first is my grapeseed oil. Can I have that for just a second? We're going to drizzle some grapeseed oil on there.
Or you could use avocado
There you go,
oil.
dear.
Grapeseed is good. Olive
Yes.
oil doesn't cook as well because olive oil will smoke at high temperatures. So save your olive oil for drizzling on vegetables after they're cooked.
Right. You're going to want some salt. This is the mix I like to do. Kind of toss it on your cookie sheet. Again, you're saving yourself having to wash another bowl later. Now here's where you're gonna turn it into a dinner. I've got some chicken thighs here, very cost effective. You can also use chicken breast. If you're gonna use a chicken breast, cut your chicken breast in half. I did the same seasonings with the oil and the balsamic in this bowl, and I just let it sit while I was prepping my vegetables. And you're just gonna lay your chicken on your cookie sheet right over the top of your vegetables. And you're gonna put it in the oven, 375 for about 25 minutes, and dinner's done. You've got your vegetable and your meat, and you're all set.
And why cut the chicken breast?
You're cutting the chicken breast in half because it's a denser cut of meat. It's bigger, and you want it to be cooked and done and not dried out or undone by the time your vegetables are done. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So we're just going to pop that in our oven, and everybody is coming around to give you a sample of what this is going to
I think
taste
we have
like.
a few questions.
And if you
Do
had a
we have some
stopwatch on
questions?
her, it didn't take her more than 5-10 minutes to put that together.
Yes.
Go ahead.
As
I'm
far,
Phil Donahue.
hi Maury. As far as seasoning and herbs and things like that, is it important to look for organic for those or not? Like basil and different things like that.
Ideally, yes, but I would say it wouldn't be one of the top priority things that you have to get organic. We prefer vegetables and meat to be the top priority. But if you can, if you have access to it, awesome. But I wouldn't say it's a top
I say
priority.
there's always a hierarchy. First, just get it done. Even if we used a plastic bag and we didn't use organic ingredients, get her done, right? And then as you got that under your belt, and you feel confident, okay, maybe I'll use a little better vegetable this time. Maybe I'll start getting my spices a little bit better. It's a journey. So don't feel like you have to do everything perfect.
I did not buy organic for that. I also think about a budget.
I have a question, girls.
Yeah.
As far as herbs, spices, that type of thing, is there a big nutritional difference between the fresh ones or the bottled or canned?
When you buy fresh, you're going to get a lot more of a true flavor of that herb. Like you're going to see later when we're doing our salmon, we have some sprigs of fresh rosemary. And I can tell you that just Chelsea and I standing here, the aroma of just that fresh rosemary was amazing. You're not going to get that from opening up your can of dried herbs. But not all of us are going to be able to go and buy our rosemary and our thyme and our basil fresh. Is it going to be more nutritiously of a value to you? Yes, if you can do it fresh. But in terms of convenience and what we have accessible to us,
Convenience.
to me, I think dried is a great way to go.
Yeah.
Because once you put that in with your olive oil and your balsamic and whatever you're going to be using, you're going to be bringing that a little bit back to life, that you're going to get that flavor back. Thank you. You're welcome.
So
wanna-
when
oh,
it
go ahead.
comes to seasonings, and Chelsea will talk about this more, there's no wrong or right answer. If you like Italian, if you like
next thing that
Asian,
you're gonna
if you
find
like
out on the plate
Mexican,
is
this is
that
just all
stir
different
fry.
season blends, and this is what we tell people. Open it up and smell it. If it smells delicious, it is. If it doesn't smell good, it's probably not for you, okay? But there's no perfect answer to that. And we brought some spices, we'll pass them around. In this book, there's a list of different palettes, you know, an Asian palette, a Mediterranean palette, an Italian palette, just where the spices kind of fall. But there's really no rules there.
No, you can use any kind of spice, any kind of herb that you enjoy on this dish, and it's going to be amazing. That just happens to be my go-to.
You guys
Yeah.
like it? Good.
Yep.
The seasonings are key.
Do we need any more? Did anybody knock out one?
You're on
Gentleman
the
in the
stir
back
fry.
is a big empty well.
An intro? Dun, 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 dun. Okay.
The stir fry
So
time.
while you guys are enjoying your roasted vegetables, I'm going to take it over to Chelsea, who's going to show you how to do a really quick and easy stir fry. We're kind of covering our chicken dishes first, and then we're going to branch off into fish later because fishes can be intimidating. But a stir fry is a great option for you if you're looking for a quick, healthy meal after work. So Chelsea, you're
Yes.
up, babe.
So stir fry, this is easy peasy. This took me about 10 minutes. The ingredients are very fast, easy, and minimal. I have liquid aminos. So we prefer this versus the soy sauce because do you guys know what the second ingredient in soy sauce is? Wheat. I'm sure sugar's in there somewhere. But we prefer the coconut aminos, and you will not taste one difference.
No, it doesn't
tastes
taste
just
any
the
different
same.
than soy sauce.
Once you start having that, there is a subtle difference that I actually like. It's got a little more spark to it. Than just old soy
It's
sauce.
delicious. Yep, you can get this at Kroger. We've got our grapeseed oil, ginger, sesame seed, and garlic. So easy peasy. I buy most of my vegetables already chopped up. Like Carol, I would
Yes.
rather just have it chopped up and ready to go. So I went ahead and put the oil on the skillet with some sesame seeds. We're just gonna dump that on there. I like the what are these called? Snow peas.
Snow peas, babe.
Snow peas, the carrots, the broccoli, mushrooms. And then I am not a fan of measuring. I never like to measure, so we just dump and hope it tastes delicious. And
You can always add more.
you can always add more, yeah, or you can blow things up, whichever you prefer.
Whatever.
And so I just add a ton of this this coconut aminos here, and then my sesame seeds and ginger. And when I come home, I am a hungry girl. So I like to have chicken that's already cooked and ready to go. That's why we've got some really good quality rotisserie chicken that we just took off the bone. And then we just dump it on our stir fry. So really easy, that way you're not having to cook the chicken.
Yeah.
Not having to cook the chicken separately, because like I said, when I come home, I am ready to eat. So we're gonna go ahead and serve this up for you, if you don't mind, Augie.
So here's some time savers. So almost every Sunday, my wife will cook 6 to 8 chicken breasts. Just throw them in the oven. Sometimes
You know
there's
what? I
seasoning
think
on
we
them,
need to bring
sometimes
that
there's
over
not.
here.
But there isn't a day of the week that my house doesn't have cooked chicken. So you come home and you want to make this dish, you got chicken that's already cooked, chop, 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 throw it in. Even if you wanted to throw in raw chicken, you could. In the stir fry, I heat my pan up really hot. I get it cooking. And I start putting, and what do you stir fry in?
We do grapeseed oil.
Or
Coconut oil.
Or anything,
Or anything,
right?
like-
You can stir fry in water. You can stir fry in
Yeah.
oil. You can stir fry in Bragg's liquid aminos. It doesn't matter what you stir fry in, just something of a liquid nature. It doesn't have to be whatever your preconceived notion was, all right? So get that pan hot, throw that stuff in it, turn, done. And if you put in raw chicken, you're gonna start the chicken first.
Yep.
Give it a few minutes, it cooks really quick, and then throw your veggies in.
And then we love to add the cauliflower rice, which you all probably have tried. Hopefully you can get this at Kroger. This can be your rice instead of having to use actual rice, since it's pretty
Who's had that
carb
as
heavy.
rice? Who's had that as
That
rice?
is fantastic.
Delicious.
How do you like cauliflower rice?
No, I liked it. It was good.
Can you tell the difference between rice?
Not really. Not good. The sauce.
That's all it is. Whatever the sauce is, what it tastes.
I love it because it gives you the same texture as eating a grain of rice, but you're not. You're eating that cauliflower. It's really great.
So this took about 10-15 minutes
yeah.
from start to finish. Hopefully you guys love it. Our next dish is
Well,
the,
let's wait for. We still have roasted vegetables.
Oh, we've
up
got
there.
roasted vegetables. Okay.
We're talking faster.
Slide. Okay, I'm gonna get in the olive oil.
Oh, yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
one
yeah.
quick thing, and it just left my brain.
Yeah. Oh, we were going on to roasted nuts and seeds.
We're gonna do
Because
roasted
there's-
nuts.
Yeah.
Hey, Og, would you serve the roasted nuts? So, we're showing quick stuff, right? Quick stir fry, roasted vegetables, and much like Carol did the roasted vegetables, you can roast nuts. If
Yeah.
you go to the grocery store, I defy you. Find a roasted nut in the grocery store that isn't roasted in
per
either cottonseed oil or canola oil. Both of those oils are highly genetically modified, and they're not good. They're not good for you. You don't want to eat them. And yet, every roasted nut in the common marketplace is roasted in canola or cottonseed oil. I've looked over and over and over again. So we're going to roast our own nuts. Get used to eating raw organic nuts, and then maybe roast some, and I'll blend them. I'll mix them, okay? So roasting nuts is very simple. Do you want to walk through the process or just serve them up?
I did these this afternoon. Doing your own roasted nuts and seeds. You can pick what you're going to be having tonight are cashews and hulled pumpkin seeds. Those are my two favorites, so that's what you're getting because that's what we like from the store. You can buy them at your local grocery store. You can buy them and buy them in bulk and bag them up in a big Ziploc bag. Most of your local grocery stores will have raw ones already prepackaged in a container. Whatever works for you. Pick any nut you like. Pick any seed you like. You get your cookie sheet out, and I always spray my cookie sheet. You don't actually have to. Set your oven at 350. Dump your nuts on your cookie sheet, and you're going to pour an oil on there. An oil you like. I used grapeseed today. You could use an avocado. You could use an olive. Whatever you prefer. And then you start adding your seasonings. Add whatever. I'm going to go back to what I was doing with the veggies. You're going to add whatever seasoning you like. So what you're having today, I love rosemary on nuts. It was a happy accident. Like you said, no mistakes in the kitchen, happy accident. I put on rosemary, cumin, chili powder, salt, pepper. What else did I use on there? I think I about covered it. And I'm doing it all on my cookie sheet. So after I dump all my stuff on there, I start stirring it with my hands. Lay it out in an even layer. Again, use whatever flavoring you like. Put it in your oven at the 350 mark, and you're going to monitor it every 10 minutes. This is going to take you maybe 20, 25 minutes total. So at 10 minutes, I'm going in and I'm stirring them, put them back in for another 10. You're going to get that fragrance in your house of a roasted nut of whatever you pick, and it's going to smell great. When you start getting that scent and you start seeing a nice golden brown on top, it's time to take them out. Because as we know, anything we've put in the oven is continuing to cook when we take it out and let it sit. So that's all it was. And let them cool, and we mixed them together. You're obviously a pumpkin seed and a cashew. I'm not doing this at the same time because your pumpkin seed's going to burn up before your cashew's done. So pumpkin seed, I would do that for maybe 15 minutes and you're good to go. Let them cool completely, package them up. You've got snacks for the week, or you've got something to add on to your salad for another extra crunch. I've got 2 teenage boys at home, so they're like always jonesing for snack. So the roasted nuts are a great way to go, and it actually ends up being more cost effective for you to buy the raw and do it yourself than it is to buy it already done, and it's already done in all this stuff maybe you don't necessarily want, and you're paying more for it.
And we want the raw versus the pre-roasted because it typically has peanut oil or cottonseed oil, just some kind of crappy oils that we don't want. So it's best to get the raw, then load up the salt, load up the seasonings. Then you can add that healthy oil versus that crappy processed oil.
And when you go to season them, how you like those? They're good?
You like them?
Yeah, so you can flavor them any way you like them. I like really salty and really spicy and nuts that have a real punch to them. And so I will intentionally kind of over salt and kind of over season, because you know what I learned? If I overdo it, I can put them in a colander and shake it for 3 seconds and I have less. I can shake it 3 more seconds and I have less again. So you can over season and take some of it away. It works really great. And typically I'll do this, you know, you put the ball game on the telly or whatever on a Sunday, and you're just mindlessly making this, and now you've got something for the week. So really quick, easy stuff.
Very quick and easy. You don't have to measure. Don't overthink it.
Don't measure.
Just start putting stuff on there, and you'll know. You like this? Maybe I'll add more of this the next time. Maybe I won't do as much of this the next time. Play with it. Make it your own and enjoy it.
And one other comment. A lot of people are thinking, well, how much of this can I have? Can I just have, 6 cashews and, a tiny portion? And our response to you would be, these are healthy fats. No, you go to town on those. I would rather you have 400 calories worth of cashews versus a 100 calorie snack pack. And we'll talk a little bit about keto and what that is, but just remember, these are healthy fats that your heart needs, your brain needs. These will not make you gain weight by any means, so go to town on
they keep you feeling full.
Yes.
That's the thing about fats.
Yes.
When you eat a lot of healthy fats, you feel full. You don't feel like you need to eat in 2 hours, okay? So this is everything we're talking tonight, it's beneficial for your health. We're not going to share anything tonight that we think you can have a little of this, but not too much.
It turned out good.
You guys go ahead and kind of clean up and get ready for next steps. I'm going to talk about olive oil for a minute, because I don't know, some of you may have heard this. Did you see the piece on 60 Minutes? They talked about the olive oil scandal. No? So anybody hear about that? I missed it too, until one of my patients came in and told me, and I went and watched it, and then I read the article. So I'll give you the skinny on it. 60 Minutes did this piece where the mafia has control of the olive oil market in Italy. And they estimate, because they took 5 different versions off the grocery store shelves in America and took it to Italy to have their tasters test it. And literally they have guys that taste it and go, and they can tell if it's real olive oil or not. And what they're doing is they're taking cheap canola oil, or they're taking cheap cottonseed oil or other oils, and they're adding a little chlorophyll to give it that green darkness of olive oil. And it's not even olive oil, or it's cheap olive oil mixed with canola. 75% of the olive oil sold in America as organic, first pressed, extra virgin olive oil are bogus. And I just learned this, right? So I've been telling people for years, drink your olive oil, get it in you. So we got to have a solution for that. Slide. So this gentleman, Bell, is funny. He's got a store in Montgomery, and guess what? He sells olive oil and balsamic vinegar. a store I never thought I would walk into, right? I heard about him, I walked in, he's got this amazing setup. He's from Tunisia, and he has olive oils from Spain, Tunisia, in Italy, in the Puglia area of Italy, where the real olives are grown. Go to the next slide. And I show you a picture of his store. These are stainless steel tins, and I'm gonna walk over to that slide. I apologize, Garrett. But he has these tins, and on them is the validated when this stuff was pressed. It has a listing of the biphenol content within it. It has what country of origin. This one's from Spain. This one is from Italy. All this great information that validates that this is real and not artificial. And then you taste it and you go, oh, that's what olive oil tastes like. Go ahead to the next one. Then go ahead to the next. So then he has all these balsamic vinegars. I didn't know there were that many balsamic vinegars. He's got them. We have a cranberry pear. If anybody's interested, he goes up to this container. He pours me some balsamic vinegar and goes, here, drink it. I'm like, really? And I drank it, and it was amazing. It was awesome. Then he has the ginger flavor. He has a row of this from here to that wall of balsamic vinegars, and he has infused olive oils. Butter infused olive oil. It's amazing. So if you're looking for good olive oil, this is one option. Go ahead. This is an olive oil that's been infused with rosemary, just showing you different ones that he has. That's from Tunisia. Now, if you say, well, this video is being played in North Carolina and they don't have access to Bell, he can probably ship to you, but if that's more than you want to bite off and you just want to order something, these are 2 olive oils that I've researched that I think are valid. The first one is an operation out in California, and they grow their own olives and they press their own olives there. Okay, so you can get it right out of California and you avoid the mafia, hopefully. Crazy, right? But it's called the Olive Press. You can look them up online. You can buy from them directly. And the other one that we have found, this is coming out of, there's 2 areas of Italy, Sicily and Puglia, that they say if you're getting it from those distributors, it's probably real olive oil. As far as we can tell from the research, Partana is a good, real olive oil that hasn't been stepped on by this scandal, okay? So we offer those up as options, and olive oil is awesome. If you're not getting much of it in your diet, it is so good for your heart, it's so good for your brain. Slather it on your salads, but don't cook with it, okay? Everybody has been taught that olive oil is great, so we'll cook with it, but olive oil, unfortunately, smokes at a very low temperature, at about 250 degrees. I'm gonna get you in 1 second, Mr. Billman. So we recommend oils that are hardier under heat, okay? So avocado oil, coconut oil, yes, butter, good old-fashioned butter, right? 1950s, they were wrong, margarine's not better. And grapeseed oil. And if you like olive oil on your vegetables, what we talk about is maybe you steam them and then drizzle olive oil over it afterwards, especially some of those infused olive oils that have rosemary and so forth in them. Yeah, Brent, you had a question.
A lot of these big brand name olive oils in your Kroger's and so forth, there's a 75% chance that stuff's not legit.
Yeah, the bigger the manufacturer, the bigger the company, the more likely it's been stepped on. Okay? And so that always leaves me going, oh, great, well, now what do I do? Well, I've tried to give you some answers. Okay? So we bought some of the Partana online. We found it online, like I think it was through Amazon. Okay. So we've ordered some of that, and then we went to Bell's, and I bought a ton of his stuff. I got some of his stuff up here. If anybody wants to taste it, it's really great stuff. Bell's, it's the Sunny Olive in Montgomery. Oh, okay. The guy's name is Bell.
Got it.
And then the Olive Press in California, you can order from them, and they'll send it to you. Okay? So good options there. Hang on. Phil Donahue, here I come.
I heard that, well, I read or saw a documentary that they were doing something similar with honey, where they were watering it down with corn syrup. So is there, I know.
Is there nothing sacred?
No, there isn't.
So I had not heard that, but I just recently found out about this about a month ago. So now we're hearing that honey is being watered down with corn oil. You know what? Now is the best time of the year for good food. You go to your local farmers markets, right? And these are honest, legitimate people for the most part. It is the freshest vegetable you can buy because it was grown in your own backyard. It probably just got picked the day before. I mean, this is better than, look, I love Kroger's, I love our grocery stores, but if I can buy from a farmer's market, all day long, right? Best stuff going. Okay, good questions. All right, people, now listen up. So a lot of you have already heard me talk about keto. And Chelsea and I are promoting this for a lot of patients because it solves a lot of problems. First question we hear, what is a ketogenic diet? So Chelsea, a ketogenic diet is
It's a high healthy fat diet.
healthy fat. You heard she say, she didn't say French fries, she
No.
didn't say donuts.
Healthy fats.
She said healthy fats. And people hear, how much fat? How much of your diet is going to be fat?
70% is going to to be fat.
I'm going to get a heart
no,
attack
you
and
will
die.
not. No, you will not.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
How do you know?
I pinky promise. I know.
And you can't do better than that.
I mean to say it's research backed. Research backed.
Research backed. So this keto diet is just a new age thing, right?
It's been around since 1910.
100 years.
It's not a fad.
So this came out of the Mayo Clinic back many years ago, almost 100 years ago, as a solution for seizure patients that had a lot of seizure. When they ate a ketogenic high-fat diet, and brain is mostly fat, this good fat decreased seizure rates. Guess what? It's good for ALS, it's good for Parkinson's, it's good for Alzheimer's, it's good for healthy people that want to have smart brains. It's also good for weight, it's good for cholesterol, it's good for blood sugar. We did a whole webinar on it. I'm not going to bore you with all the details. If you go to our YouTube, Dr. Gary Huber channel, you can see a 30-minute discussion, Chelsea and I talking about what a ketogenic diet is. We have lots of documents. If you go online and look up ketogenic diet, you'll find some really smart stuff and you'll find some really dumb stuff, okay? And it's hard to tell which is which. So we've crossed that bridge. We've come out with what we feel is validated, documented pathway for doing ketogenic. So we're going to talk about that because no matter who you are, we do a corporate health engagement at Cincinnati Financial right up the road, and that's where I got to meet the lovely Brent Billman and others in this room. And guess what? We talk about the ketogenic diet, and a lot of times people say, well, wait a minute, isn't that for losing weight? It is. And they go, well, you don't have to lose weight. Why are you doing it? I make my living with my brain, right? And I like having good energy. And the ketogenic diet promises both of those things. So since doing the ketogenic diet, I do feel that there's an edge for mental sharpness. There's an improvement. I've had people say their sleep is better, that their thermostats, ladies, are more controlled, okay? So it has a broad impact. And this is not a new wave diet. And this is something that our grandfathers, our great-great-great-great-great-grandfathers ate. When we were cavemen, there weren't any grains. There wasn't any wheat. There wasn't any oats. There wasn't any rice. There wasn't any rye. We had animals and we had plants. And of the animals, fat, especially saturated fat from buffalo and from different animals that were captured, that traded as a commodity as a very valuable item because you could sustain yourself on that. So we have to change our thinking a little bit when it comes to keto. So now we're going to go, because everything we presented so far tonight is still keto. Keto is lots of vegetables, lots of healthy fat, normal protein, nothing excessive, eggs, nuts, and seeds. Well, wait a minute, that sounds like what we've already presented. But we're going to really focus on how do I go through a ketogenic day, okay? And who wants to help me make a dish? You want to help me? Game on. All right. Slide, please. So we're gonna do two things. I'm gonna start getting my egg stuff together. You want to talk about fat coffee?
Sure.
All right.
Okay. Fat coffee. Sounds gross. I'm with you. I thought it was too. So, fat coffee. The idea of fat coffee is I don't know if I'm like you, but the first thing I do when I get up in the morning and I'm going down to take my shower, I'm starting the coffee pot. So, I make my coffee at home. Dr. Huber's a Starbucks guy. Either way, it's going to go the same way. I'm turning on my coffee pot while I go and get my shower. What am I going to put in my coffee travel mug? I'm putting MCT oil. Oh, look at you, Vanna. All right, so I'm pouring a little MCT oil in my mug, getting that ready to go. You can do that before you go to your Starbucks or wherever. You could also use coconut oil, which is floating around here somewhere. I got it right here. You can put a dollop of coconut oil in there. MCT oil, I like the MCT oil because there's no flavor. I just have healthy fat. To me, I get a flavor of coconut. Not my thing, but that's all right. Whatever works for you, but you put your healthy fat in there. Pour your hot coffee in over on top of that, and there's your fat coffee. It doesn't have to be a specific brand. It doesn't have to be a specific kind. Pick whatever you like. That's your fat coffee. I feel fuller because I don't get the luxury of sitting down and doing a breakfast before I go into work. And once I get to work, I'm working and I'm done.
Make her work really hard.
He really does. So
Most of the time our coffee is cold.
most of our time our coffee is cold. But that really helps sustain you, especially if you're going to have something like a Dale's bar that we'll talk about later, or something or an egg cup that we'll talk about later. That's going to get you through. But that's basically what a fat coffee is. It doesn't have to be anything else specific. So like Dr. Huber, we joke because he just goes into his Starbucks with his travel mug, with his dollop of coconut oil, and fill me up. Well, a lot of the baristas tend to go, oh, this guy brought a dirty mug, and they dump it,
They dump my oil.
and then try and fill it up. He doesn't like that.
He doesn't like that.
He doesn't like that.
And they have Kerrygold butter at Starbucks now too.
And they have Kerrygold butter, which I'm going to be using later. Kerrygold butter, really good butter.
Yeah.
Really yummy, full of healthy fat. You can buy it in any grocery store. You can put butter in there. And I've done butter before. Again, I really love the MCT oil the best just because I want to taste my coffee.
Yep.
But I will say, ladies, I do enjoy that I have soft lips all morning because the oil kind of hits my lips and I'm good. So that's really what a fat coffee is. If you've seen it on Pinterest, you've seen it online and not sure what this is, that's really all it is. Pick your healthy fat, put it in your coffee.
So when you're on a ketogenic diet, you're burning fat aggressively. Your body's burning fat like crazy. So when you get up in the morning, you're already burning fat that's in your body. You only have about 2,000 calories stored as sugar in your body. You got 100,000 calories of fat.
I panicked.
You never
I was
run
like,
out.
cups of water.
So when you get up in the morning, you don't wake up ravenous. And so when I have my fat coffee, I just fed my brain medium chain triglyceride oils. My brain goes like that because my brain loves to burn fat as fuel. And you gave it a little bit of caffeine and you're on your day. I'm not hungry. I'm not ravenous. Maybe by 10 or 11 o'clock I want something. I'll have some of those nuts or I'll grab something quick. But it's a really great way. And I've always preached, you have to have your breakfast. Or your fat coffee if you're keto. Okay? All right. I'm sorry, your name is?
Fat coffee for him in the morning is great. That gives your brain a bit of energy and it gives him something to get him through the morning. Yes, you have a question?
Smeared in those cups.
If you're not a coffee drinker,
you could still do tea.
You could do tea with that.
MCT oil, it has no flavor at all. I mean, you could just really drink this and you won't even know. It's just a little thicker, so you could still do the MCT oil in tea.
you could do any of this in a tea or a hot chocolate if you're more that way. Did you have a question?
How much do you use?
You know what? I don't measure mine. If this, you'll usually say a teaspoon. I just kind of go bloop, 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 done. For my travel mug.
Okay.
I have seen him
Or
drink
that.
it in the middle of the day.
like
He just
thick water.
he
I'm
takes
not
it to
doing
the.
that.
When you start
Yeah.
doing fat coffee, it's an acquired taste. I didn't like it the first time.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
and you can use ghee. Ghee is clarified butter. My recipe right now is 1 teaspoon of ghee and 1 tablespoon of coconut oil.
is ghee.
But that isn't where I started. I started with
Here's
just
a
a
little
little
ghee.
bit,
You wanna taste
and I
it?
just stir it. You'll hear about you have to use a blending wand or a blender or a mixer. Messy, time-consuming. Nah. I just dump my hot coffee on it, stir it, and start slurping it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can use as little or as much as you want, and just find a taste that you really like. I've gotten so used to the fat coffee that plain coffee is boring to me now because the fat coffee is so much richer. It brings the oils out. It's really, really good. All right.
Yes, Dr. Bianco?
So do start low and go slow. So there's
Start low.
that's called disaster pants with
I'm going to say, so there is something that we refer to as disaster pants. So start with a teaspoon, go slow. You'll notice in your belly if something's rumbling, grumbling, you'll feel it. But if you start with a teaspoon, it's not going to cause that issue. But just be a little cautious when you're first starting off with it. I know from experience.
You got sufficiently butter.
Word to the wise.
He kind of
And,
just
and
left
again,
it
if
here
that
and
happens,
started
doesn't
walking,
mean it's
didn't
not
he?
for you. Just
All
means
right.
it doesn't work well today. And you slowly build
We're
up.
gonna add a
Your,
piece of
your
pepperoni
gut
to the
flora will
bottom if you
change.
want
The
one.
bacteria
Yep.
in your gut will change over 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks as you begin to feed your body more fat. And it'll adapt to it. Okay, so any hiccups, and we tell people, you don't become keto in 2 days. That's crazy, right? You hear something called a keto flu, where people do it for 2 days. They rush into keto. They get rid of all the carbs and they eat tons of fat, and they feel like crap. And that can happen if you do it too fast. So Chelsea has a process and a program where she will walk you into ketosis, nice and gentle, just like her personality, over a course of 3 to 4 weeks, okay? And that's what we really recommend. So don't feel like it's, a red light and blazing. It's a gentle, easy process, and it's pretty simple. So Miley, what you doing there, girl?
I
That
just
doesn't-
moved
that
her
doesn't
on
go in
while you
there.
were talking.
That doesn't go in there.
Are you doing your ham first?
We've got people running my recipe.
Well, dude, you want your ham first?
Ham first.
All right.
First. So we did wash your hands, and then Miley, I said, take the butter and just coat the cup.
She did.
With my hands? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what cooking's all about, right? With your hand, get in there, get dirty.
That's
so,
perfect.
all we're doing is taking muffin cups, and we're just putting butter in there, and now she's taking
We're
a
just
nice,
sticking a ham slice in there.
just gonna poke in there like she's making a bird's nest, right? Now birds are disgusting, so don't think about them while you're making this dish. But just poking ham in the little cup, and then we're gonna put a slice of pepperoni at the bottom because pepperoni's awesome. And then we're gonna take some scrambled eggs. Would you get me 12 eggs and scramble them, please? Augie, if you'll help me with that. And we're gonna scramble. Now, if you're at home, maybe only make 6 of these. We're making 12 because we want you to taste them. Because these keep really well. So if we make them, we're gonna have some hot
gonna get your
tonight.
bowl.
But these are awesome. If I make 6 and I have one for breakfast, I'll put the other 5 in the fridge. And these are, because you'll see, it's almost like, dare I say it, an Egg McMuffin. But without the muffin, and they're nice. They're portable, so you can just grab one in the morning
you a whisk.
and off you go to work, and it's a great way to feed yourself. You are doing beautiful. Well, then we'll just do 11. The heck with it. So we're shy 1 piece of ham, catastrophe, and then we're just going to take 12 eggs or 6 eggs, whatever you have. Now you can dump them right in the cup. I like to scramble them, and my kids like scrambled better. So we're going to scramble these eggs. And we're just going to we're going to partition. Let's see how good Miley can partition 12 eggs amongst 12 compartments or 11. And then you can put whatever you like. You can put a little shredded cheese on top. You can put a little shredded coconut. My daughter Lainey does not like shredded coconut. She likes the cheese. I like both. You could use both. Okay? So very simple. And really, once you've done this one time, it literally is 10 minutes or less to put it together and slam it in the oven. It cooks in about 15 minutes at 375. Ba-boom. It's easy. All right? So, Augie's scrambling up the eggs, and we're going to pour those in there, cover them with a little bit of cheese, and throw them in the oven. Any questions? How easy is that? That's too easy, right? How long do they keep? I wouldn't go a month and a half, but I think you could probably get a week out of them. Okay? So, typically, they don't last that long in my house. I would not be afraid to leave them in the refrigerator for 5-6 days. Around 6 or 7, you might want to cast an eye for any funkiness. Okay? It's the funk factor.
I'd say for good, because chances are you're going to probably want 2. I think you're going to be fine with a week. And
Yeah.
you can do whatever quantity works for you. I've got 2 teenage boys and a husband, and we're all keto. So I'm doing 18 at a time. But not everybody's doing that because they're going to chomp down on 2. They can pack them. You can pack them in your lunch. You can have them for lunch if you want. Pack them in a container, take them to work, and eat them at your desk.
All right.
Fat bombs?
Moving on, baby.
Next. Shall we talk about our fat bombs?
Go for it.
These are probably my favorite part of this evening. Have you all tried fat bombs?
Does anybody
No?
not know
Oh my
what a
gosh.
fat bomb is? Okay.
A few of you have tried fat bombs.
All right.
So the base of most fat bombs is coconut oil, almond butter, or peanut butter, and we add chocolate protein powder to that. We also add pistachios, chia seeds. You could really add whatever you want, any kind of ground up nut. But basically all you do is you melt those oils, the coconut oil, the nut butter, in a pan, in a saucepan.
Why don't
You
you walk
pour your
together?
chocolate protein powder in there. We use a vegan-based chocolate protein powder. Then you just simply put that in the refrigerator in a meatloaf pan. And then about an hour later, you've got these, what we call fat bombs, but they're kind of like Reese cups, is what I basically call them, Reese cups. So they're fast, easy snacks that are high fat and low carb, which is what we're going for. So we have 2 different kinds tonight. We've got an almond butter based one, and then we also have a blueberry vanilla cinnamon one, I believe.
It tastes like blueberry pie filling.
I don't know where those went,
They're-
actually.
they're all
Being
getting
passed
served.
out
Oh,
now,
okay,
we got-
perfect.
We got 2. We got a blueberry that's very mild, vanilla, and then the chocolate peanut butter.
Yep. So these can even be used as a breakfast with your fat coffee because you've got the fiber, you've got the fat, you've got the protein. That's a perfect meal. Do you guys like it? Isn't it delicious? Yeah. Good.
That's my favorite quick snack. So we skipped over lunch to snacks, but that's perfectly fine.
Oh, that's mid-morning snack.
Mid-morning snack, in
So-
case you didn't have the fat coffee.
There's no rules to the fat bomb. We're going to give you a recipe. Every time I make them, they're slightly different. I put ground up nuts in there. I will put chia seeds in there, coconut oil, almond butter, peanut butter.
good?
I mean, sky's the limit. I'll put a little protein powder, vanilla protein powder. Tons of options in making those. The blueberry ones, it's the first time I made those. We just made those the other night. My friend Julia and I were kind of mad cow brain in the kitchen coming up with that. So, all right. So good snacks, good options. We're going to go back to lunch. Remember, we're doing a keto day, so we have our fat coffee, we have our egg cups. We're going to go to lunch, which can be a salad with chicken and olive oil. Pretty basic. Everybody knows how to do that. Chelsea's going to talk about her keto rolls because we always hear, wait a minute, no grain, no bread. I'll die without bread. No, you're going to die from eating bread. But we're going to show you a really good bread recipe that Chelsea has mastered. I still haven't quite gotten the knack of it. We're going to pass it around, a little bit of butter. And you want to tell them about the keto rolls?
So these keto rolls, another one of my favorite. Like I said, a lot of my patients say, well, what kind of bread can I eat? Can I do organic, whole wheat? I'll buy a $10 loaf if you want me to. I would actually have them make this because there's only 1 gram of carb per roll, and the rolls are huge. It's made with almond flour, flaxseed flour, psyllium husk flour, apple cider vinegar, egg whites, a little bit of salt. It's delicious, especially when you put a nice big slab of butter on there. You can also do some turkey on there. The thing I love about this is the texture. It actually tastes, the texture is just like real fluffy bread. The taste is good, but I think it has to have butter, and I think it has to have some sort of meat on there. Oh yeah, everything has to have butter. So these are my absolute favorite. You can make a bunch at a time. You want to go ahead and pass them out? And then take the slab of butter if they offer it. Here you go. Give them a nice slab of butter. And that's my favorite go-to lunch with a protein on there, lots of healthy fats, easy peasy.
I love this because I am a sandwich kind of girl.
Yep.
And I want a sandwich at lunch. And my boys want a sandwich at lunch because they're packing their lunch. So this is a great alternative to add any kind of meat, lettuce, tomato, whatever you want. You're still getting that bread feel, but you're still staying keto.
Yep.
How many grams of carb?
1 per roll. One.
Per roll, 1 gram of carb. That's nothing. Nothing. All right?
They're big.
Yeah, they're huge.
They come out of the oven like great big balls.
Yeah.
They're very impressive.
The psyllium husk powder, you have to get, I think, the only place that we found it is on Amazon or on Thrive.
Yeah.
We could not find that
We
at
couldn't find it at
Kroger, or even Jungle Gym. So
No.
that psyllium husk powder is a little tricky.
Yeah.
And the other thing, we've made quite a few mistakes while making them. You have to use a blender, an actual mixer. If you stir it with your hands, they'll just kind of go flat, like a flat tire.
I stirred the eggs by hand, not with a mixer.
No,
and
you
I
gotta
did
use a
too.
mixer.
I got cow pies.
Yeah.
They were still good, but they were cow pies.
Yeah. So one of my
All right.
favorites.
Want to help her?
Oh, we've got the egg cups going in the oven.
right.
Next, I think we have other fast and easy snack ideas.
Yeah, I'm going to go through a bunch of
Thank you so much.
fuel. Well, okay. Back off to dinner for a second. All right. So we're trying to give you tools, right? What is the one thing we commonly hear from folks? I'm busy. Really? You're the only one. Everybody else seems to have plenty of time. Right? I'm busy. I don't have time for this. I'm on the go, and I got kids, and I got a job, and I got all this stuff. Okay. So we need quick grab-and-go stuff. That's why I have to buy these convenience foods, these processed convenience foods, because they're quick grab-and-goes. I'm going to give you 8 to 10 grab-and-goes right now. All right? So number one of my favorite grab-and-goes is the Fat Bomb. I make those on Sunday. It does not take much to melt oil on a stove, add some ingredients, and throw it in the fridge. I throw it in the fridge in a pan. So there's always one of these in my refrigerator, right? That's just a Fat Bomb that I haven't cut up yet. So I cut off a couple of slices of that. And you know how I love plastic, right? Plastic is awesome. No. Boo! Stainless steel, baby. Stainless steel. So I have a lot of stainless steel containers at home. I'll fill this up with a few Fat Bombs. So I got my snacks for the day. Snack number one. Where's my beautiful son, August Thomas? He's handing out bread. All righty. Would you grab the Smokies? Yeah, Dukes. There they go. All right.
You want me to pass?
That'd be great.
Are we doing that? Okay.
Snack number 2. You're going to love this one. Does anybody eat beef jerky? You like beef jerky? Well, this ain't beef jerky. Okay? These are Duke's Smokies. Smokies. You're going to have to advance a couple, I think, until you see a picture of Duke. We'll come back to that one. Egg cups we did. Keto we did. Keto recipe we did. We'll get there. All right, here we go. Fat bombs. Go ahead and run through it. Just go to the picture. I didn't put my PowerPoint together perfectly. So these are Duke's Originals, okay? They're shorty sausages. We're handing them out. I wish we had more, but I knew we were going to have lots of food, so we get one little sausage. The difference between this and beef jerky, I love beef jerky, but if you ever try to buy beef jerky, what does it have in it that you never want and it's always there? Sugar. Sugar and nitrites. So sometimes there's as much sugar as there is protein. These bad boys have a nice high, look at that fat count, 11 grams of fat, 1 measly carb, 7 grams of protein. This is keto fuel. This is awesome keto fuel. And when you taste them, give me your feedback, but 99 out of 100 people go, that is awesome. All right? They're very expensive. They're at Costco. You get them for, they're nothing. They're nothing, all right? So I get them at Costco, but this is much better than beef jerky, all right? So now we've got our fat bombs. We got our Dukes. I'm going to have, fast forward to the next slide. I want to show you, now here's a marketing trick, right? This is beef jerky. That looks really healthy. Grass-fed beef. Wait a minute. Dr. Huber said grass-fed beef is awesome. And no gluten. Why would there be gluten in beef, right? That's a gimmick. That's a marketing gimmick. Look, it's gluten-free. They don't dare say it's sugar-free because when you look at the label on the right, look at how much sugar there is in this bad boy. So you think you're buying grass-fed, gluten-free beef jerky, no nitrites added. Oh, this has got to be awesome stuff. And then we look, how much fat is in that? 1 measly gram. How much carb? 9, 8 of which is sugar. 10 grams of protein. There's almost as much sugar as there is protein and no fat. That's garbage compared to your Dukes. Okay, you get the difference? High fat, high protein, no carb. All carb. Okay, so those are really tasty. Those are easy. So once again, I'll grab 3 or 4 of those little bad boys and I'll throw them in another stainless steel container. Very simple, no plastic. And now I've sent poor Julia on a frazzled trip. You're going to have to back up a little bit. You're going to have to go back a few slides. I've got my slides all over the place. So we need more fat bombs, though. That's not enough to get me through the day. I might want something else. How about if we get into nuts and seeds? You've already had those, right? Those were awesome. Pack those up in your stainless steel container. You got nuts and seeds. Just keep going. Keep going. We can edit this out. There we go. There we go. Nuts and seeds. And then what about another great treat? I love avocados. Who here likes avocado? Who here has never had an avocado? Do you like avocado raw? Yeah. So I cut it in half, and I throw half of it in a glass bowl, and you know what I put on it? About 10 or 11 olives. Olives and avocado. You know what olives taste like? They're salty, right? And if you love them, they're awesome. If you don't, that's okay. But what's an avocado? It's creamy, but it's pretty mild. Now you eat those together, you got a salty, creamy, delicious, fat bomb snack. Okay, so I just cut that sucker in half, put it in a bowl, dump about 10 olives on it, boom, I'm out the door. How long did that take? Hardly any time at all. Almond butter. Who's had Barney's almond butter?
Oh, so good.
I don't know what the other companies are doing to make their almond butter, but they ought to go sneak into Barney's and figure it out because these people, this is some good stuff. So you can do sunflower butter, you can do peanut butter, but I love almond butter. And how about just some simple celery sticks? That's a quick grab and go, right? What I do is I take some of this, either I throw it in my lunch pail and take it with me, or you could put some of that in a small container and take that with you. Cut up some celery sticks, boom, you're out the door. What's next? Buttered rolls, right? You could take some of those rolls that Chelsea taught you how to make and slather some butter on them. That's a quick snack as well. You can have a cup of fat coffee in the afternoon, so maybe I have a cup of coffee and I put some more fat in that if you like afternoon coffee. We can talk about the intelligence of that, but that's an option. Guacamole and veggies. So Chelsea found these lovely holy guacamole.
Those things are great because you can buy those at Costco in a great big container, and my kids take them for lunch. Great guacamole on the go that you're
Yep.
not making.
Now, we would love you to make organic guacamole at home, but we know life's in the way. So sometimes something quick and grab and go like this. So I just grab a guacamole, and what am I going to put in that? I'm going to put in some flackers. Flackers, not crackers. Flackers. And we'll get to these. So these are flaxseed crackers, and they're very crunchy, okay? And they have a good nutritional profile. So, yeah. Thrive Market. We'll talk about where you get a lot of this stuff. Thrive Market, if you've never heard of it, thrivemarket.com has all this kind of crazy keto stuff. They got really good prices, and I've used them, and I think they're really, really strong. And then Costco does a pretty good job, and some of this stuff is found just at Kroger's. And then lastly, grab and go. I'm going to grab my Dale's bar and I'm going to run out the door. And if I'm really got the time, I'm going to take some almond butter and smear it on my Dale's bar for a little extra fat. Okay? Dale's bars are raw. There's no dairy. There's no soy. They have 22 grams of protein. Most things that masquerade as protein bars are carb bars. Okay? They have very little protein. And the protein isn't from a good source. This is not the case with Dale's bars. We have them here tonight. If you've never had one, buy a couple. They're awesome. We always have them on hand at home. So there I just gave you at least 8 to 9 viable, quick grab-and-go snacks. Is any of that hard? Better not be, or I'm coming out here. All right. Pretty easy stuff, right? So we want to provide you options because it's really important to have stuff that you rely on. I have no idea where we are, Julia, because I've been all over the map.
Two more dinners in our day of keto.
I'm sorry.
Is shrimp pasta the next?
Yes.
Yes.
Pasta. Woohoo!
Shrimp pasta.
Yes.
Okay. We are not using pasta because this is Dr. Huber's realm. So what we're using in place of our pasta is super convenient zoodled veggies. I bought the butternut squash and the zucchini. You can buy your own noodler, spiralizer, and do it yourself if you have that time. That's a great option. I bought the little tiny one that's like $8 at Kroger. That was a bad idea because most of the zucchini and the yellow squash I'm buying doesn't fit in there, and it was a pain. So I find this to be super convenient. It's already done for you at Kroger. You don't have to think about it. You just dump it in. And if you want your kids to start cooking, which I do, they can make this themselves. But if you want a good spiralizer, this is a great way to go, much better than my little handheld option that I went for. So here's what I'm going to do, because with my last name's Talarigo, I married an Italian, so we ate pasta all the time. We're not doing that anymore. So this is kind of taking the place of that. So I'm going to heat up some oil in my skillet. And then because I want some more fat, I'm going to throw some butter in here as well.
Woo.
We're going to melt that up.
It's a lot of fat, girl.
It's a lot of fat. It's all right. It's good for you. All right, so this is like, everybody loves like a shrimp scampi or something like that when you go to a great restaurant. We're going to repeat that, but we're going to make it on the healthy end. So what we bought was just regular old raw shrimp without the tail, peeled into vein in the frozen section. I've already drained it. So I'm going to increase my heat. I'm going to dump my shrimp in with my oil and my butter. And what I'm going to add is my garlic. I have a garlic press at home, and I like to buy raw, regular, fresh garlic. But let's face it, it's already done. I'm just dumping it in. That's my favorite. I keep it in the fridge all the time. So we're going to increase my heat. So if you can't see this, what I'm doing is I'm just sauteing my shrimp in with my oil and my garlic and my butter. And I'm going to add a little bit of salt because my doctor says I need more salt in my diet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook my shrimp down first. After I cook my shrimp down first, and this is what I like about for a weeknight to do for fish, because I feel like fish is really intimidating for people if you're not used to cooking it. If you're not used to cooking it and you want to get into it, start with a shrimp, or you can even start with a tilapia. A tilapia is a really mild fish. I love the tilapia loins at Costco. They're individually wrapped. It's a really thick, nice portion. It's not the really thin things that you find at your local grocery store in the freezer section, but it's not as intimidating, and it goes quicker, and it's milder. So if you're not sure about the fish thing, this is a great place to start. So you want to cook your shrimp until it gets pink. Mine is pink already, and I just dumped this in, and I have less than a medium heat on here. So I'm going to take my shrimp out of my skillet. And again, I'm only using one pan. And I do this for my kids. We're starting football season, so now we're heading off to stuff at night. We've got scouts at night. And frankly, I come home and I'm tired. So I still want to eat healthy. So I've got my stuff that I've taken my shrimp out. I'm just dumping in. And that's it. Done. I'm going to add more salt because that helps it sweat, breaks it down a little bit. I don't really need to add any more oil than that. If you want to add more butter, you want to add something else to it, I think dill would be great in here. Grab whatever, it's back to whatever you like. This isn't baking. Baking is a science. Baking has to be measured because if you don't measure it, it's not going to turn out right. Cooking is all about what you enjoy.
What do you guys think? This took minutes.
Yeah.
Pretty much is done. This is going to be...
I did this right before you guys came so we could have it plated and ready, but I'm literally doing this raw in front of you. So I'm just going to saute this. Get it to the consistency you like. Some people want their veggies really soft. Some people want their veggies crunchier. I like mine crunchier. Okay. I'm stirring that around. Now I'm going to dump my shrimp back in. And I know Dr. Huber is not a cheese guy, but when you're on keto, Parmesan can be your friend.
A little bit. Oh.
We're adding some Parmesan in there. Stir it around.
And Carol, you got the pre-cooked shrimp?
No, we bought the raw shrimp.
I forgot that's what
Chelsea
we bought.
and I went on a crazy grocery store extravaganza yesterday.
We did.
And we thought, okay, in the interest of time for everybody, we're going to buy the already cooked shrimp. Couldn't find any.
Yeah, nothing that was
That
deveined.
wasn't the tiny little itty bitty salad shrimp. That's not all that great.
But
So
this
I
still
bought
took a few minutes.
medium raw
And cooking
shrimp.
it fresh is
so
Yeah.
fast for you. And now you've got a restaurant grade dish. You could pay $15 for this. Add whatever seasonings you like. But to me, garlic, salt, a little bit of pepper, and some butter.
What do you think,
And
Brent?
you're done.
You could do that.
Thank you.
You could
very
totally
much.
do that.
And look at,
What were the seasonings, Carol?
Salt, pepper, butter, grapeseed oil, and Parmesan cheese. That's it.
90% of this effort is just planning ahead and thinking ahead of time.
But you can think ahead, but at the time, the only time you're thinking ahead is when you're at the grocery store in the produce section. Grab that stuff. To me, I would rather buy the prepackaged spiralized noodles than buy, as I've done before, the zucchini and the squash with the thought that I am going to do this week. And then they rot and I throw them away and they're not done. I'd rather spend the money and use it because it's there and I can grab it than not have it at all. Because if I don't have it and it's rotten, I'm running to Skyline or someplace else and it's costing me more in the long run.
Yep.
Skyline.
I love Skyline.
I love Skyline.
Huh?
Keto bowls.
Keto bowls.
Yeah, Skyline. You want to go to Skyline? This is what we do. You buy the Coney Bowl.
Yeah.
3 hot dogs, chili, onions, mustard, whatever, and cheese.
Do they call it a keto bowl?
No, they don't. It's
okay.
a Coney Bowl.
Okay.
But it's the Conies without the bun, and you get a lot more than you would if you bought 3 Conies.
And that's
And
not
it's
all that
cheaper.
bad.
And you're full.
Yeah. There you go.
That's
And
not all
that's
that
really
bad. From a nutritional standpoint, you're getting lots of fat, You're
Yeah.
getting, and I grew up in Cincinnati. I grew up on Skyline. I'm not giving up Skyline, but I'm giving up the pasta and I'm giving up
Yeah.
the roll. I just want the chili. So serve the chili on those spiralized vegetables, or have the, you know.
yes.
So
There's
we
your
get
three-way.
cans of Sky. Every once in a while, I just got to have my Skyline. I'll make a bean dip out of it and dip vegetables into it. I came over here because my friend Brent. Any single gals in the house?
Brent,
So
you poor
Brent
thing.
admitted to me, you know, he's not big in the kitchen. So I just want to check in. Is a lot of this doable? Does it seem doable to you?
It's very worthwhile this evening, very worthwhile.
Okay, so you can see some
And I'm amazed at how, not only how good it tastes, but how easy it is to do.
Yeah.
And what I want to know, if I eat a diet like this on a regular basis, can I have hair as thick and nice as Chelsea?
And I want to point out, look at the complex machinery we've used to prepare these foods so far. Really hard, isn't it?
Right.
Frying pan, some heat, a knife, and a spatula. This is not complex. Something even my friend Brent could pull off without too much complexity. All right.
So we've got one more left.
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
the keto cups. Wait.
Oh, Miley.
Oh,
Miley.
perfect. Yeah.
We're good. We've got
think
2
we're
more
good.
minutes.
Okay.
We're fine.
Oh, look at them
We're fine.
rise.
They're good.
Oh, they're puffing up.
Where's
They're
my
going to
hot
be
pan?
awesome. Yeah, question.
So if you have a sensitivity to garlic and onion, are there other things that you could recommend?
Absolutely. So
Whatever you
if they're
like.
sensitive to anything, there's always a substitute. Let's say you have an egg sensitivity. Oh, I can't do any of this stuff. Yeah, you can. There's egg substitutes in some of this cooking. Garlic and onion are just seasonings. So pick some other seasoning. Maybe you like cumin. Maybe you like allspice. Maybe you like saffron. Any seasoning, just substitute. Okay? And we'll talk a little bit about spices at the end when we have a little more time. But absolutely, there's always a substitution we can find.
The last
Okay.
thing, I think, is the salmon, last but not least. Woohoo. So the salmon, I think is, or fish in general, I think is the easiest and fastest thing you can cook or bake. One of my favorite things at Kroger is the Easy Seafood for You program that they have. Have you guys tried that before? Some of you? So you can go up to Kroger in their fish section and they will prepare your fish for you. They'll season it, they'll put butter on it, they'll do the rosemary, they'll do everything for you, and it's totally free. So if you're a little intimidated by preparing or kind of getting your fish going, just have Kroger do it for you. Tonight we're going to do something really simple. We've got some fresh rosemary, which Kroger will do that for you for free. And I just dumped some lime juice on there. That's going to be our first salmon, really easy. And then our second one, this one's going to sound a little strange, but I'm going to put some salsa on it. It's a little bit of a pineapple mango salsa that only has 3 grams of sugar for 3 tablespoons, so it's not bad. And I'm just going to put some oil on the salmon, and then after the salmon gets out, then I'm going to put the salsa on top of it. So this is, again, a very fast, easy meal. Kroger will do it for you, or you can just go ahead and put those ingredients on there. The salmon will take about 10 to 12 minutes in the oven. You know when it's done, when it starts to get a little flaky, and sometimes little white kind of looking stuff will come out of it. Then you know it's done. So we're going to pass that out really
I love that
easy.
tip. When the white goo comes out, it's done.
Can you tell I'm a dietitian and not a chef? I can tell you how to eat healthy, but I don't know the technical
Let's
terms.
walk you through this.
Yeah, what's the
Okay.
technical term?
Here's our salmon. I like this cut because it cooks fast. Okay, so I'm just going to drizzle a little oil over the top. Salmon's a pretty oily fish.
But we like more oil.
You don't need a whole lot. We've really gone through our.
I
There.
know.
Just drizzle some on the
We're
top.
gonna do this. There's the lemon.
No, I don't want to put balsamic on there.
And
All right,
then
and
we're
then
gonna
I'm
do the
going to
rosemary.
put a little bit of salt because everything's better with a little bit of salt. That's fine. Don't put any rosemary on this one.
Okay.
We'll put that. So we're done. We're just gonna stick that in our oven.
Yep. And we've already got it, half of it cooked.
Now, one of the things,
you wanna pass
okay,
that?
let's face it, we're in Cincinnati, Ohio. We're not raised on fish. Nobody likes fish. I hate cooking fish. Don't know how to cook fish. I don't like fishy things. One of the things we wanted to bring to the light tonight was what Carol just did was awesome. Putting some dill, putting some lemon, putting some oil. But a lot of people, they said, it's still too fishy for me. Cover it with salsa, right? You can put salsa on that. You can use flavored balsamic vinegars. You could use anything if you're trying to mute that fish flavor, if you're not a real big fish person. And I find that really helps a lot of people.
And truly, I can tell you, I grew up on fried fish and tartar sauce. Tartar sauce kind of keto friendly.
Yeah, you could do some tartar.
Pickles, mayo. I make my own because I keep forgetting to buy it, honestly. But tartar sauce is basically lemon juice, pickles, some seasoning, and mayo. You buy yourself a healthy mayo. You can make your own tartar sauce. There's what you've got for your accompaniment for your fish, and you're still staying on the keto.
And it's wild caught too.
Yeah.
Wild caught salmon. Ta-da.
Ta-da.
I think we have one other thing. The our favorite keto items on the PowerPoint, Julia, if you want to forward. So
Your favorite stuff.
my favorite stuff. I think if you're transitioning to keto or even just transitioning to get some of the carbs out of your diet, the first thing you have to do when you go to Kroger is get tons and tons of these staples, healthy fats. My favorite, the Barney's, the Primal Kitchen mayonnaise is another favorite. Love the coconut flakes. Of course, you got to get the chia seeds, the flax seeds, all the nuts and seeds. You can go ahead and advance. And my absolute two new favorites, the one on the far left is the coconut milk, but I usually get the coconut cream, which is in just a little can. It's where the soy sauce is, and there's 14 grams of fat in a fourth a cup. That's a ton of healthy fats. So that's what I put in my coffee in the morning. Much better than getting the coconut milk out of the container because there's no fat in there. This is coconut milk out of the can. And then the far right, my other new favorite called Kite Hill. It's a cream cheese that actually is made with almonds and almond milk. Lots of good healthy fats. And I thought, well, this is too good to be true. Let's see what the ingredients are. I thought it would be loaded with all kinds of processed junk. But surprisingly, it wasn't. It was just almonds, a few spices, chives, and the best part about it is it had the consistency of cream cheese. So my favorite snack is to roll up some of that cream cheese with salami, and that's a delicious snack. Very easy, fast, high fat, and filling. So those are my favorites. Julia, if you want to advance one more. We were going to talk about alcohol because we obviously have wine here tonight.
Before you get to alcohol.
Yes. Yeah.
Come on up, Miley. Our puffs are ready. Look at these suckers. Look how where's
Ooh, those look
where's my camera
good.
guy? Look how these things.
How
puff
cute.
Up, right? So they puffed up nice. You've got some cooked meat in there. You got a little pepperoni. You could add salt or pepper. I never do because there's enough salt in the ham and the pepperoni that you really don't need it. And so these come out so easy, and you can just take one, and we're going to cut them up so you can taste them. But you can see how easy it would be to stuff that in the fridge and have that tomorrow or the next day. Okay?
Yep.
So we're going to cut those up and hand those out. Help my friends here. I need a big old. Go ahead.
Alcohol, I think, was next. And then I think that kind of wraps up our show. Last point of discussion is alcohol. So a lot of people say, you know, can I drink if I'm trying to eat healthy or go on this keto path? And it definitely can be incorporated. Of course, it's how much and how often. So you definitely can incorporate wine or vodka in this keto diet. So Dr. Huber, do you want to talk a little bit more about that, or do you want me to, about alcohol?
I love to talk about
We love to talk
We
about
we have our wine night
help it.
Thursdays in our office.
I'm born and raised German in a beer town. Are you kidding me?
that.
So, we're gonna get these eggs served up. So, alcohol is two topics. We talk to people all the time about their food and blah blah blah, and yeah, I got this. Okay, I'm good. And then before they go, what about alcohol? Right? You want to know? Can I have my cocktail? Can I have my wine? When we're doing a ketogenic diet, your body is burning fat all the time. You're burning fat at an amazing rate, and that's why belly fat goes away. It's why cholesterol drops. On a ketogenic diet, you're burning fat as fuel. So you don't accumulate triglycerides. You don't accumulate LDL cholesterol. You're burning it as fuel, all right? When you take in alcohol of any kind, your liver goes, oh, there's a toxin in the body, because the liver looks at alcohol as a toxin, a very delightful but toxic substance. And so it says, well, I'm going to put this fat burning aside. I'm going to go over here and burn these calories of alcohol away because I got to get rid of this stuff. So depending on the kind of alcohol you're drinking, alcohol has 7 calories per gram. So in general, if you have one shot, which is like 1.5 ounces of any kind of distilled spirits, that's about 100 calories. The same is true for a 12-ounce beer. The same is true for about a 5-ounce pour of wine, about 100 calories of alcohol. When you have beer or wine, there's an additional carb penalty, okay? Because distilled spirits don't have carbs, but wine and beer do. And so and that's why you see Miller Lite and other light beers competing in Michelob Light, and they have 6 or 12 or 8 carbs. That's in addition to the alcohol, all right? So just understand, if you're a beer lover, you're probably going to get more calories from that, and you're going to stop burning fats for a while. Now, if you have one beer, that's probably not a big deal, but as you have a second or a third, now you're really postponing that fat burning, and you may, depending on how good you are in your keto diet, you may drop out of ketosis. Not a big deal, right? The following day, if you're right back on your keto plan, you're probably going to swing right back into ketosis. But understand, anytime you have alcohol, you are kind of putting a pause button on the fat burning, okay? Not the worst thing in the world. There are wines. I'm going to let Dr. Bianco talk about red wine because he's Italian, and he brought some information to light that I think is interesting. There are better companies. Not all red wines are created equal.
Yeah, so going down the path of trying to treat my body better, I wanted to investigate which wines can I drink to have the carb intake lower. And some of the wines out there actually do have no residual carbohydrate or sugars. So you can get the benefit, well, some say benefit, some may say otherwise, but you get the enjoyment of drinking wine, but not having the negative effects of that. And some of the wines, so there's one called Fit Vine wine, which you can actually find at Whole Foods. You can get it fairly cheaply for a case online, and you can get like 10% off with using different discounts. And then there's a company called Dry Farm Wines, which they source most of their wines from Europe. And it's all, it's very farm-to-table type wines, or these local producers that are giving you stuff that doesn't have the additives put in it. Most American wines have additives. One of the famous ones is called Mega Red. And if anyone has experienced the lovely purple teeth or purple tongue, that is due to additives put in your wine. When you drink wine, you shouldn't have that effect. So if you're looking at your friend and saying, oh, those teeth are looking interesting, that's because the wine you have has some of those additives. And the government has actually approved, you can find this all online, the government website, 60 additives that they've approved to put into your wine for different reasons. Preservative factors, color factors. Everyone wants that deep red wine, but it's stuff that isn't necessary, doesn't really change the flavor, and can have potential negative effects for health. And if you're following a keto lifestyle, then it's going to have problems with that as well. But yeah, Dry Farm Wines, that's a big company, and Fit Vine Wine.
Now we're so close to Kentucky, we have to drink bourbon, right? Right, Carol? Woohoo! All right. So, any questions on alcohol? There's always some lingering question, and don't be afraid to ask. Yeah.
I've heard some stuff about gluten-free beer.
Gluten-free beer.
Thoughts?
There are some gluten-free beers out there, and I think some of the early ones didn't taste great. I do have some beer snobs. I don't mind being called beer snobs because they are. And they tell me that there are some good gluten-free beers out there. I have a list on my laptop behind you. I can access it for you another time if you'd like. These are not my recommendations. These are coming from my beer snobs who say these are good gluten beers. But there are gluten-free beers out there. Yep, absolutely true. All right.
So what was your favorite food tonight?
What did everybody like?
I like the nuts.
The nuts. Oh. Yeah.
Thank you.
Shrimp scampi was great.
Thank you.
Oh.
cups.
Okay. Good.
Does everybody feel like they walked away with something that they're like, I can go tomorrow and go get this, and I've got something for this week that I wasn't thinking about? Yes.
Christy.
Are the recipes
Are the recipes in the cookbook or are they on your website?
They're on our website.
On our website.
Okay, thank you.
Under nutrition, and then I put them under articles, and you'll see them cooking demo recipes, everything we made tonight.
So there are some in the cookbook, but as we've advanced, that cookbook was made last year. We've added to it. Notice one thing. Again, not a lot of fancy equipment. And how many dinners did we prepare? I don't know how long we've been going. I'm going to guess an hour and 15, somewhere in that ballpark,
Yeah.
maybe a little
We
longer.
did 4 dinners.
We did 4 dinners plus a lot of snacks and a lot of quick things all in that hour. Now imagine if we weren't doing all the chatter in between, okay? So it's very simple to prepare a lot of these meals ahead of time on a Sunday, and you've got them ready for the week. And hopefully our goal tonight was just to show you, hey, it doesn't have to be hard. Our goal is to show you that it can be fun. Spend some time in the kitchen, with your family, with your kids, your spouse, and enjoy that time. And take it as a little downtime. Don't take it as a penalty. And I think you'll find that part of your day is really, really enjoyable. And hopefully we've shown how it can be really, really simple. We know a lot of you, but we may not know everybody here, and there'll be people watching this video. If we've inspired you to think differently about your food, that was really our goal, and to try to make it doable. But there are a lot of people wrestling with everything from weight loss to thyroid to energy issues and sleep issues, and that's what our office does. We're an integrative office, and we employ really smart people. And Chelsea is a great coach in this area. But if you're wrestling with any of those things, we believe that quality of life is key, and we believe absolutely that you should live to 80, 85, 90 years of age and be viable and healthy and active and on the golf course and not in a nursing home. And we think that starts with good food and basic lifestyle. So we talk about things like being mindful and being in the moment. We talk about healthy foods and healthy sleep and exercise, because when you practice these basic things, the complicated things that involve cardiologists and oncologists happen far, far less frequently. So hopefully we've paved the road in that direction. You guys have any final comments you want to make?
I would say, as someone who works and is providing for a family and is cooking for a family, you can do this for a family. I do it for teenage boys. They're keto as well. Now my 13-year-old will tell you he's keto by default.
By default.
But he's a whole other animal. But in any case, what I'm trying to do is instill in them healthy eating habits now before they go off to college, and start filling their brains with all kinds of stuff that they can't do, like that one over there, stuff that I don't want them to have. I'm starting to instill it now. Kids will embrace this. They'll get there. Mine still wants snacks, but that's why we buy the Dukes, and that's why we have the rolls, and that's why we find the other fun stuff. You can do this as a family. It does not have to be, because I always said when my husband first started with Dr. Huber years ago, I am not a short order cook. I am not doing something healthy for Dad, and then I'm making something healthy for you guys. If it's healthy for Dad, that means it's healthy for you too. And we're doing this together as a family because that's how it works. So if you're in that realm where you've got still kids at home, you can totally do this, and it doesn't have to break your budget, and it doesn't have to kill your time. That's my big takeaway.
I want to share this big log. He's bigger than me. He still can't take me down, but he's bigger than me. So Augie grew up in my household, surprisingly, as did my beautiful daughter Lainey, and we just talked about foods at a very young age. And so I talk to parents all the time, and I said, this is the time to be talking. Not pushing, not forcing, but just talking. And so when he was growing up, we would say, oh, that broccoli is going to make your feet really fast on the soccer field. Oh, and that chicken's going to make your brain learn your letters really fast. You're going to be a great reader. And we gave these foods qualities because they really do have qualities. And on that off chance that it was a Sunday and we're watching the Bengals game, we might go to the grocery. Notice I said go to the grocery and get a chip, not go to the pantry, because we never kept them at home. But on a special occasion, we would go get a little ice cream, or we would go and get a chip. But they knew the difference just because we talked about it that way. Now, this isn't really good for us. You might notice your belly doesn't feel as good, your energy's not as great, but it's just a fun little occasional snack. So it wasn't like we villainized cookies and pies and cakes, but we put them in their proper place. There's something you can have, but not often, and we don't keep them in the house. And I'm proud to say he just finished his freshman year of college, and he came home, and he didn't pick up the freshman 15. Okay?
Yay, Augie!
Now, Augie went to Moeller High School, which all of you know is an all-male school. It's a very macho school. It's a very meathead school. I love it. I'm a graduate of Moeller High School. And he would go every day to this macho school and have what for lunch?
I had a salad.
I had a salad.
Salad. Okay? And so he goes off to college, and I'm sure he had his fair share of Milano subs and pieces. But tell him your experience. How hard is it to be with your friends and go out and do stuff and not go crazy on food?
For me, it's definitely not been a challenge, especially during my freshman year of college. And people are surprised when I let them know that I didn't really gain that much weight. I didn't lose any weight, but I definitely didn't get the freshman 15. When I go out to restaurants with friends, I can see all the different pizzas and burgers and French fries and all the things that they'll be having, and I'll order salad, and sometimes I'll get made fun of. I don't really care, but growing up with my dad, I learned a lot and I experienced a lot, and I got to know what things are good for my body and how I can build myself and become stronger. So
Show them your biceps. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
So this is a true story.
Meal.
True story. He played on a select soccer team and went away for one of those weekends where they have a soccer tournament. And he came home, and at the time he was around 15 years of age. And he gets out of the van and goes, "Oh, Dad, I can't wait to get home." They're on the road for 3 days playing soccer. He goes, "All they gave us to eat for 3 days was fast food. I can't wait to get home and get some real food." Now a teenager's complaining that he had too much fast
Yeah.
food, right? And so
Yeah.
not that he never has a cheeseburger or a piece of pizza, but he knows the difference. He knows how his body feels. And he would tell me as a kid, I know I'm better on the soccer field when I eat good, or that I'm better in the classroom when I eat good. And so I point that out, and I point out my daughter eating a salad, because kids will eat healthy stuff if we offer it to them and we make it delicious, right? Good man.
Good job, Augie.
Good man. All right. All right. So if anybody has any final questions, we're pretty much done with everything we had. We'd love to answer any questions you have. I got a few pamphlets over here about the Sunny Olive. We have cookbooks. We have Dale's bars. And we're here
still
to
have food.
here to help.
We have food.
Oh, we still got food.
But
Yeah,
no
did you get
wine,
enough to
no
eat?
plates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
We got more, man. We got more.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for
so
joining
much.
us.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Have a great night.